Welcome back, Beasture94 with another WCW Monday Nitro here on Sunday. We're in front of 7,000 people. We're doing a recap of last week's Monday Nitro to start off the show. Before we get into it though, I just want to thank everybody for crushing it with the last video. Showing a lot of support, which I greatly appreciate. Make sure we're also checking out the MLB The Show content as well, as you'll see more of that coming forward. We got 2 weeks, guys, until Fall Brawl. We have this Nitro and one more before our next pay-per-view, so look forward to that. Let's get into the show, as we do have a recap of last week's Nitro. So we're showcasing all of our feuds here. Just giving us a nice little video recap of everything that happened last week. 69 rating on that segment. We get a hype package video for the cage match tonight. RVD's gimmick is getting stale, so let's make sure we write that down to fix that, so we can make that not a problem. 70 rating on the hype package for the steel cage match tonight, where if Booker T wins, it is still a singles match for the WCW Championship. If Rob Van Dam wins, we will have a triple threat match for the WCW Championship at Fall Brawl. And in our opening contest, in a good match, Ken Shamrock defeats Lance Storm in 7:31 by submission with an ankle lock. Lance Storm in 80, Shamrock a 59. Shamrock starting his advance. Shamrock was off his game, which is a little disappointing, but the match got the crowd hotter with a 70 rating to open the show. I knew Storm was going to give him a great match here, so I wanted to really showcase Shamrock to the best of our abilities. And Storm always does well, so no complaints here. 70 rating is definitely better than I expected. I expected a mid-60s. Shamrock keeps going strong, as he is still technically undefeated here in WCW. Post-match, Kaz Hayashi comes down and challenges Ken Shamrock next week to a singles bout to get his retribution from Clash of Champions, and Ken Shamrock gladly accepts. So we have a match next week for Nitro. It is going to be Kaz Hayashi versus Ken Shamrock for the second time. First time, Kaz Hayashi did come up short, and he is determined to stop Ken Shamrock's undefeated streak next week. Wow, okay, perfect. 60 rating on that promo there. Moving forward, trying to give Kaz Hayashi some more stuff on the card. We get a backstage segment where Paul Heyman's in his office, and Booker T and Sharmell storm in as Booker T is begging and pleading for this match to not happen tonight in the steel cage. Heyman says in his WCW, everything is earned, and at Clash of the Champions, you screwed your way to that title match, and we're just righting a wrong by giving Rob Van Dam a real opportunity to join that triple threat match. You'll still be in the match regardless, but whether or not you fight just Abyss, or if you fight Rob and Abyss, well, that's up to you. Booker T and Shamrock are obviously very disappointed as they storm off in the office, and Heyman gives one of those Paul Heyman-like smiles as the camera pans away. Heyman clearly enjoyed going off script. Storylines advance, 72 rating on the backstage segment. Good stuff, gentlemen, and Shamrock. We get a promo inside the ring where the Dudley boys, Bubba and Devon, announce that they are entering tag team turmoil at Fall Brawl. As many other teams have announced already, the WCW Tag Team Championships will be held in a Battle Royal style elimination way tag team invitational, and the Dudley boys are welcoming themselves to that turmoil. 67 on the promo. And they go into a tag team match, and about to have good heat and decent wrestling, the Dudleys defeat the Nightbreed in 7:57 when Devon pins Vampiro after the 3D. Vampire Warrior was the weak link. Devon is 61, Bubba is 76, Vampiro is 68, Vampire Warrior 47. Dudleys obviously have great chemistry, and the match got the crowd hotter with a 67 rating. Good stuff here, as both teams will obviously be in the turmoil, so good little feature here. We get a backstage promo from Dustin Rhodes, saying that now that the dynasty is done, he is his own person. He has asked his father to please step away from the business so he can be himself, his own man, and not just Dusty's son. He wants to be the top of WCW, but he wants to do it his own way, on his own, with no help. And Dustin Rhodes is now officially a solo act. 73 on the promo. This is Dustin more or less just saying that he wants to be his own man. He does not want to be in Dusty's shadow, and he's finally rid of the dynasty. In and about that had good heat and decent wrestling, Dustin Rhodes defeats Billy Kidman in 7:53 by pinfall with a bulldog. Dustin Rhodes a 69, Kidman a 52. Now to qualify the match, and for some reason, Dusty still was at ringside. I'll fix that, just ignore that. 65 on the match. Good win here for Dustin. Keeps his momentum going. Kidman is on a slippery slope to be off of the card and off of the roster shortly, which is disappointing, but every time I try to use him, he just fails me miserably, so he's just kind of a TV guy at this point. And Dustin gets a good win, so we're pushing forward on that. Mark Jindrak comes down to the ring and calls out any joker in the back to an open challenge for the TV championship, and he is interrupted by a familiar music of the Hurricane, and the Hurricane is back. And about that great heat and decent wrestling, the Hurricane defeats Mark Jindrak in 9:44 when Mark Jindrak intentionally just gets disqualified. And the way this is going to work is Hurricane has obviously got Jindrak frustrated. Jindrak kind of sees that he might be losing, and he automatically gets himself disqualified by pushing the ref. Retains his TV championship, but kind of a BS way of doing so. Both men had 57 ratings. The match had a 55. The Hurricane is back on WCW. He was injured there for a little bit, so I couldn't use him, unfortunately. And they announced quite looked at the match, and he's back. So good stuff here. The mid-card gets a little bit stronger, and we could potentially have a TV title feud on our hands here. We get a backstage promo from James Mitchell and the Monster Abyss, where Mitchell explains that Abyss does not care how many people he has to fight at Fall Brawl, whether it's just Booker or if it's Booker and Rob Van Dam. Both men will succumb to the 6'8", 400-pound monster Abyss, as his reign of WCW and the reign of terror will not conclude anytime soon. Storylines have advanced. James Mitchell improvised well with the 67 promo. This segment's not going to matter, but Steve Corino, we have made a call up from Developmental. Steve Corino will be coming to WCW shortly, so look forward to that. Former ECW champions coming his way to World Championship Wrestling. In a decent match, Mike Awesome defeats Devon Storm in 6:21 with an awesome splash. Awesome in 82, Devon Storm 43. Mike Awesome benefited from having a hot new move. 70 on the squash match. This is just simply Mike Awesome needs a win. Somehow that gets a 70. We'll take it. Devon Storm, being a great job guy, makes this match work out. Post-match, Rhino comes in from behind and attacks Mike Awesome with a chair. Keeps beating him down with the chair until Awesome is no longer moving, laying flat on the ground, as Rhino stands over him holding the WCW United States Championship over his head. 69 rating, as this feud is starting to pick up some steam, as Rhino has made his intentions very clear and has shown that he can beat down Mike Awesome. Alright, and about that had fantastic heat and great wrestling. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Kevin Nash in 9-4 by pinfall with a roll-up. Mysterio in 82, Nash is 67. Storyline has advanced and gained heat. They don't seem to click for an awkward belt, but they got a 77 rating, so you know what? We're just going to keep rolling with it. Good stuff here. The story of this match is that Rey Mysterio won with a roll-up, so we're going to have a more pissed-off Kevin Nash going forward, which is the goal, which that's ultimately we want. We want like that Diesel kind of mindset again with Nash. So great stuff here to these guys. I gave them a short match on purpose. I didn't want it to be too crazy, but dang, a 77 when they don't even click, I'll take it. We get a promo backstage from Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Brian Clark, as they announce that they are entering Tag Team Turmoil, just like the Dudleys did early tonight. They are another team that has entered the fray for Tag Team Turmoil at Fall Brawl. 43 on that promo. Chris Kanyon cuts a backstage promo after the commercial, and he's interrupted by Jamie Noble, as Chris Kanyon, now being accepted by the fans after his hard-fought feud with Sting, says that, you know, just because the fans are cheering for me, I'm not changing anything. Maybe they respect me now, and that's awesome. And then Jamie Noble walks up and he goes, the fans may respect you, but I sure don't. You've turned your back on everything that you stood for, and now you're just another one of these sheep. And you may not think about this now, but last week was a fluke, and I will get my revenge, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, next week. You don't know when it's coming, and you won't like it when it does. 61 rating from Jamie Noble. Little feud brewing here between Noble and Kanyon. And we get a promo as next week we have an 8-man tag booked for next Nitro, as it's going to be America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris and James Storm. Maybe go to the 4v4 here. It's going to be Chris Harris, James Storm, Bubba Ray Dudley, maybe Bubba Ray Dudley, there we go, and Devon Dudley, facing off against Chavo Guerrero, Brian Clark, Shane Douglas, and Bam Bam Bigelow. A big 8-man tag where it features 4 teams from that tag team turmoil for Fall Brawl. 72 rating on that, which is awesome for that graphic. Good stuff out of guys here. This is going to be an awesome match next week. 72 rating. Dudley's getting better at his gimmick. We get a backstage one from Rob Van Dam about second chances, about this is his shot. You know, he doesn't want to have any excuses. This is his one shot to get into that main event of Fall Brawl, and he does not want to squander it. He felt like he screwed himself over on Clash of Champions, and tonight he rights the wrong and puts himself in the main event of Fall Brawl. 69 on the promo. And our main event of the evening, in an exceptional match, Rob Van Dam defeats Booker T in 15 minutes by pinfall with a 5-star frog splash off the top of the cage. Booker T is 77, Rob Van Dam a 91. The storyline of Booker T and Rob Van Dam is ended, as it now is the WCW Championship storyline that features them and Abyss. The match deserved better color commentary. That is what it is. 78 rating on the match. And post-match, Rob Van Dam is celebrating on top of the cage as he has Booker T fallen in the middle of the ring, and Rob Van Dam has punched his ticket to the main event of Fall Brawl in the triple threat match for the WCW Championship. 72 rating on that one. Now we've come to the end of Nitro, so let's see what we get for an overall show rating. I'm thinking a high 70s here. 75, I'll take it. Amazing show in my opinion. I think we hit a lot of great stuff here. We increased our popularity in 18 regions. Our rating has been insane since we've jumped over to MTV. I just want to thank everybody for keep pushing along this show and keeping these videos keep coming, and you guys seem to be really enjoying them, so I'm very happy with that. Thank you so much. Make sure we keep crushing that like goal, guys. Make sure you're supporting the MLB The Show as well. And we'll see you next week for another WCW Monday Nitro, as it's the go-home show for Fall Brawl.